know what I'm saying?
That's what you got a handshake?
That's what we do.
Right.
You got it. You get your little something.
Right. I did not. I set you up so poorly. Time for stories to start your morning, sponsored by Gillette Clear Gel. Andrew Luck's retirement was the biggest news in the sports world this weekend. Now it's being reported that the Colts will not recoup any money from Luck. Nick, does this open the door for Luck to return to Indy at some point?
Well, I think that's one of the main reasons they're doing this. I think Jim Irsay, say what you will about him, maybe learned from what happened with the Lions and Calvin Johnson. They clawed back all the money they could, and that slammed the door shut on him ever returning to them. He still has a bad relationship with them. I don't know if it changes Luck's feelings, but $24 million is $24 million they could have gotten back. They opted against it, so I think the door remains cracked open. I just don't see Andrew Luck walking through it.
Ooh. I'm a little... I might have to come for that money, man.
If you were the Colts?
Yeah, if I'm the Colts, I might have to come get the money back. It ain't Colts' fault. They paid him. They paid him when he was off the field. I mean, the Lions went after Calvin Johnson. Now, I didn't like the way the Lions went after it, but the way Andrew Luck walks away from it, I might have to come see me.
Just real quick, if I may, maybe one of the reasons they gave Luck the option to go on the IR to start the year, and then they would have had to pay him another $22 million this season. So maybe Luck, by not taking advantage of that, they're trying to do right by him.
And Luck also had a bonus in September, $6 million that was due to him. So I could understand little bartering right there. Okay, all right, that makes sense.
All right, moving on to the NBA. Dwight Howard has agreed to sign with the Lakers after a buyout from the Grizzlies. The Lakers hope he can replace Boogie Cousins, who tore his ACL earlier this summer. Nick, good move by the Lakers?
All right, you guys know I believe in reclamation projects, and you know I've always felt Dwight's one of the most underrated players in league history. With that said, last year he was not healthy. He obviously is a shell of the player he once was, but we sat right here and talked with him. He did seem more mature than in years past, and it's a no-risk move for the Lakers. I'll tell you this much. I think Dwight Howard can make more sense than JaVale McGee when you are going to play a center, and Anthony Davis doesn't want to play center. So I look at this as no risk, low reward, but some potential reward.
This lets you know how bad things were. Yeah, and even Dwight sitting here, I'll be like, Dwight, things is really bad. The Lakers have turned to you, Dwight. Okay? Yeah, I know you look in shape and everything, but you a shell of yourself. All right?
All right, let's move on to Antonio Brown. His helmet saga seems to be behind him now, that after losing his second helmet grievance with the league office. See, will AB finally move on from this helmet issue?
Yeah, until something else comes up. Yeah, I keep telling you guys, this is just the beginning. Oh, yeah, we're going to see plenty of AB. I just hope that the quarterback is able to get one of the best receivers we've seen in football the last 30 or 40 years. Might be one of the better small players under 6 foot the NFL has ever seen. That's what I hope for Carr, and I hope that John Gruden, leaving from a star being in television, he made the right decision investing and trading for him.
And while I was gone, Mike Mayock seemed to reach his level of tolerance with this when he said, you got to be all in or
I was
all
glad
out.
he said that.
And I think it was important. I think it was finally someone letting AB know, hey, man, at some point you got to be a professional, and part of being a professional football player is playing football and practicing football. So I think the helmet issue's done. He'll probably get an endorsement deal with the new helmet and make some money out of it. But I agree with C. Doesn't mean all the issues with it.
And I mentioned this last week. There might be a potential lawsuit with him suing the company that had him injure his feet because they didn't give him the right advice. They put gloves on his hands, but they did not advise him. And he thought that he needed something on his feet, but he thought they were doing something special. So just wait to hear something else coming from that.
A little intrigue about the whole feet injury. Jen is just killing him for it. Maybe you got bad advice. Ever think about that, Ms.
You know, I've stayed out of this one day back, and the bus is already on top of me. On to the Cowboys now. With the regular season quickly approaching, Ezekiel Elliott remains a holdout. Many starting to have serious doubts about whether he'll be there for Game 1. But Stephen Jones seemingly not among those doubters. He's reportedly optimistic the Cowboys and Zeke will reach a deal before then. CC, you think Zeke will be on the field for the Cowboys in their Week 1 matchup against the New York Giants?
I'm glad to hear Stephen Jones say something that was positive. It's the first positive thing that we've heard coming out of there. We heard at the beginning of the training camp, they have offers out to Zeke and the other players, and we heard Zeke didn't even send a counter offer because the offer he felt disrespected. And then we've seen Jerry and his son go back and forth, back and forth. To me, I'm glad that they're able to say something positive. They got a window, you and I were talking, Jen, about 7-8 days before they can get Zeke signed, because you want him signed by next Monday, Tuesday, so you can make those other roster spots. Do you keep him on a 2-week exemption? I don't think so, but someone else, once you sign him, has got to go. So I think it's good news that Steven is saying something, him and our Jerry, because they've been a good indicator of what behind the scenes was actually happening.
I just want to elaborate on Chris's point. When you said they have this 7 to 8 day window, if what you were discussing off the air was if he's not signed by, let's call it a week from tomorrow at the latest, if he's not signed by next Tuesday, even if he signs before week 1, he ain't playing week 1 in your estimation. So that when Stephen Jones says this, they believe that in the next week they could potentially get this done. I also think this is not just a quote. I think there is some substance to it. I think that Stephen Jones is savvy enough, at least this isn't about the Giants having to prepare differently. He would not be setting up his fans and the people that cover and follow this team and care so much about the Cowboys for extra disappointment if he thought there was no chance he signs in the next week. I think he believes he could have easily said, listen, we've made our position very clear. We've offered to make him one of the 2 highest paid running backs in the league. Ball's now in Zeke's court. If he says that, I would have less optimism than him saying, I think it'll get done in the next week.
And don't the Cowboys have to put together some semblance of a game plan to start the season, at least against the Giants, knowing what their depth chart looks like at that position?
Most coaches, they try to tell the players we're going to concentrate week to week. But when you sit down in the team setting and you get through those preseason games, the coach sets the agenda. And typically, he sets it up in NFL quarters. And he tells them the first 4 games of the season, the second 4 games of the season, and he'll go through different phases as far as the bye weeks, dealing with injuries, distractions, playing Sunday night, playing Thursday. So that first week, it sets the agenda as far as, man, this is what we're getting ready to do. As Denny Green used to say, man, we're getting ready to fight all day. We're going to march all night. And we get ready to do that for the next 4 months. I need everyone's undivided attention. But then he would break it up into, in this 4 games, we're going to have to go 3 times on the road. In this 4 games right here, we got teams that we're favored against. So, yes, it becomes very important how we're going to play that first month of the season. And don't sleep on the Giants, especially with the defensive line being in question for Dallas. Man, Barkley could rush for 200 yards in that first game, and the Giants could pull off that upset.
All right, well, it feels like we're at least getting a little bit closer to a deal with Ezekiel Elliott. Moving back to the Colts now. So when the news of Andrew Luck's retirement first broke, the team was actually in the middle of playing a preseason game. News spreading throughout the stadium in real time. Fans, upon hearing about their quarterback's decision, reacted in the moment. Some of it wasn't pretty.
All that you've meant to the team and the city and the stunningness of the decision. Any reaction to the fans? Did you hear the reaction walk off the field?
Yeah, I'd be lying if I didn't say I heard the reaction. Yeah, it hurt. I'll be honest, Chap. It hurt.
Nick, what did you make of the fans booing Luck?
I'll be honest, almost nothing. I felt for him. He didn't deserve that moment. But I also think this is, for some people, for some media, one of their favorite hobby horses, wagging their finger at the naughty fans, even though it is not emblematic of an entire fan base. It is an emotional reaction amongst people. Keep in mind who's there at that point in time. This is a preseason game at the end of the preseason game. These are your diehards of diehards who have just, in the moment, had their hearts ripped out. Some of them, maybe most of them, season ticket holders who have now realized for the second time in the last 3 years, I have paid for season tickets thinking I'm going to get to see Andrew Luck. I'm now not going to get to see Andrew Luck. And they haven't seen his press conference yet. They haven't seen how emotionally distraught he is. And so they reacted poorly. Not a handful, but the people who were there who did that. To me, there's not that different than the fans in Toronto. that cheered when KD got hurt. It was an ugly moment in a snapshot in time that most of those people would not do again upon time for reflection. I don't think this is an indictment on the city of Indianapolis, the fan base. Bob Kravitz said it, who's a great writer up in Indy, and I think he's right. If tomorrow they said Andrew Luck's going to hold a parade or hold an event, he would have tens of thousands of adoring fans show up to thank him for what he accomplished there in this brief 7-year window. So I don't read too much into it. I think it was some diehard fans saying, you got it. He's retiring. It can't be the most shocking retirement ever and not have some immediate emotional reaction. So that was how I reacted to what the fans did.
For me, I've been around sports my whole life. And most of it has been, you know, participating on the field. But I love sports. I love all sports. I traveled around the world seeing golf, tennis. I traveled around the country watching Michael Jordan. And I've been a season ticket holder of the NBA 20 years. So I'm a fan myself. But as an athlete, and I learned early in my career, when I left Middletown, Ohio, and went to Ohio State, and that first game there was 100,000, the coaches let us know, man, these people have been watching football a long time. They're not here to be cheering for you if you don't do nothing. And just learning with that Ohio State franchise, they say, oh, it's the Ohio State. Let me tell you what the fans will do to you if you don't play well. They'll either sit on their hands, and 110,000 of them being silent, or when we traveled around the country and you go to Wisconsin, which we did, we were #1 in the country, I think, at the time, lost there, they will boo you. We lost at Purdue against Rod Woodson, them. They will boo you, and they will boo you at home. So my relationship with the fans is I've never been thinking that, oh, man, we had this give and take. No. You know what we had? As long as I can do what I'm on that field to do, the fans that were cheering for the team, the colors I'm on, they're going to cheer for me. But I remember one time I was with Randall Cunningham warming up in the vet before the game. And we're playing catch on the side. We're getting ready, and I'm zoned in. And the guy in all green, painted and everything, is cussing Randall out. You're this, you're this, you're this. And I'm like, this is my rookie year, man. I come from Ohio State. They don't treat you like that. I mean, so for me, it was eye-opening, but I understood. My ability to catch this football is going to keep them people standing up. When I go on the road, people are going to boo me, and it might be my own fans because as a professional, we're being paid a lot of money. This is not college anymore. This is professional sports, and this is what the fans do. It's always been my expectation. And now as a fan, when I'm in that arena, I try to conduct myself as if I appreciate people for their ability. I know they're unique, and I know they're special.
And listen, the fandom is not unconditional love, and it never has been. It has always been, we sometimes glorify it and try to make it into more than it is. It is a symbiotic relationship at its best, but not always.
Not always.
Right. I mean, the fans are getting either escapism or great moments or memories with their family.
Entertainment.
Entertainment.
For the most part.
And the players are getting compensated. To Chris's point, you're now professionals. This is, if all of a sudden, if someone went to a Broadway show and they went to go see Lin-Manuel Miranda when he was still doing Hamilton, and they come out right beforehand and they said, Lin-Manuel Miranda has quit. He's not going to be out here tonight, and you're going to see someone else. People in the moment might boo. Now, maybe afterwards they'd find out a good reason. They'd feel badly, whatever it was.
Or they would enjoy the show with the replacements.
Absolutely. And so I think this is the type of story that gets talked about more than it should because it is so easy. It's everyone can be Captain Easy stance. How dare you, fans? You know what I mean? You shouldn't have done that. Shame on you.
Right.
And no one is gonna be like, you know what?
No, we
they
should cover
booed.
it. No, we should cover it, though.
Oh, I agree.
We should cover it because we should think that fans, given all the stuff we've seen, at some point would get a little smarter. Now, if Andrew Luck flips him the bird, we're going to cover it.
100%.
So we should be covering it when they treat someone that they supposedly loved, all right, instantly.
Instantly.
His career's taken or his body has failed him. Man, I got a great call from someone at the NFL, and it's someone who's played the league a long time, and it talked about, man, our body's going to fail us at a certain time. Andrew Luck just didn't know. Like, we don't know when. His just happened to be recently.
Well, and it also speaks to, I think, why players, especially more modern players, are recognizing that it's business for me, it's personal for you, or that vice versa, meaning the idea of taking a hometown discount or the idea of showing extra loyalty to a franchise.
Listen, you better get your money, man.
Right, because they will, whether it's the management or the fans, very quickly, as soon as you stop producing, not all, but some will say, okay, well, you no longer provide me that joy you were providing me, and in fact, you're taking it away from me, therefore, I don't like you anymore. Not a lot of it is, I love you as a person, it's I love you as a performer.
And I've never left the stadium and been like, you know something, I heard the fans saying great stuff. You know, that stuff I'm going to teach to my kids.